And their money is. I think they're same size, but they're around. We'll get the truck. All that.
79. Following one will be the big area. So I'll be at the beginning.
So the double check.
Yeah, double check, yeah.
Hey, Walt, it's the engineer. Hi, Andy, how are you tonight? Good, how are you? Fine, thanks.
We got you on speakerphone. I think we're ready to get started.
Okay, thank you very much.
Okay, I'm going to call the meeting to order. Can you please rise for the pledge and remain standing for a short tribute? Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic which stands one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Please take a moment to think about our EMS and first responders and deployed military who've given the ultimate sacrifice. Thank you. Okay. First item on the agenda is public comment.
I guess that's me.
Sure.
Yeah, we just,
Go ahead. You just come up to the.
I talked to Mary about putting veterans flags and first responders flags on our poles like Shrewsbury.
Can you just click your microphone?
But anyway, we need the Borough Council's approval to go ahead. We're in the very early stages. We just want to make sure that it's going to be okay for the borough. We'll need the Public Works Department, I guess, to like install them once we. But we need to have a few more meetings to characterize what we want to do for as far as being eligible, or we haven't even really spoke about it, but we needed to get the borough's approval to go ahead with our little project of beautify the town with our beautiful bases. So, and then once we get established, we can and set some criterias and all that, then we can go ahead and come back to you and give you our ideas of what we want to do. But that's,
And the idea is you would provide all of the material, the flags and the pole hardware.
It all
And then you would ask the borough to provide the Public Works personnel, bucket truck to put everything up.
To put everything up, yes. That's what we need. Before we can even go ahead, we need to get approval. So that's my speech for the day.
Okay. We need to put on the agenda for next time, or can we tell them to go ahead with their planning?
Well, I don't think it is on the agenda under public comment, but as far as not really allocating anything at this point, because none of they're still working on some of the information.
Sure. Yeah.
I think the general consensus of council is for them to move forward with the project.
Yeah.
So we can go ahead and meet and then set everything up that we need to do. We'll have to get a hold of the public utility company and everything else to make sure.
Sure.
But, I think the guy that did it in Shrewsbury, he sent us a pamphlet, and I think we can probably get all the information we need some way or another with that. So.
Stewartstown has it too. I'm happy to see that in Freedom's Morning.
Well, they've done it up in Yaleton where my camp is for like 25 years. They've been up there, and every time I go up there, I thought, when's New Freedom going to do it? Then when I saw Shrewsbury, I couldn't believe it. We let them get ahead of us. So.
Wonderful.
So, all right, well, thank you very much for your time.
Thank you. Anyone else?
want to thank everybody who were able to see the parade and enjoy the parade. And a special shout out to Chief Boyer. We thought he was seeing, but we didn't. And that's all we have to say.
Thought it was great. We weren't able to attend this year, but we saw the pictures and the videos, and everybody seemed to have a great time. I think it was another great event. Pulled the town together.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Anyone else? Okay. Next item on the agenda is Rose Fire Company. Chris has not been able to be here tonight. So the fire report for the month of November, there were 34 calls of service for fire, 17 for EMS assist, 4 calls of service for fire police, 2 for duty officer response. There was a total of 57 calls. Total calls year-to-date, 550. There's been $0 in fire loss for New Freedom Borough, which is, I think, amazing. He did announce that the apparatus committee is looking to meet with the sales representative next month in regard for the new ladder truck to start discussion on graphic design. Still looking to have a new ladder truck late in 2028. And I can't answer any questions, so I won't. Okay, approval of minutes for the regular meeting held November 10th. I would accept a motion.
I'll make that motion.
I'll second.
I have a motion and a second. Is there any discussion or corrections? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? My vote is aye. Approval of the treasurer's report dated November 2025. Can I entertain a motion?
Make a motion.
I'll make a motion that we do the treasurer's report.
I'll second. Oh,
First, you go for now.
All right, moving right along. Are there any questions, comments about the treasurer's report?
Oh, here it is. On page 4, under account, it still says property lease people's bank. Can we change that to Orstown?
It's just defaulted in the system to select that, so yeah, we'll get that.
Got to do that on the police one too. Any other comments? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? My vote is aye. Unfinished business. Consider approving for Paul Smith Library the release of the December 2025 allocation in the amount of $1,000. I have no updates. There's been nothing said to anybody. They become a branch effective January 1st. So at that point, I think we would have to decide what we want to see from them to show or prove that the money is going to stay in New Freedom or with Paul Smith Library, that our money is going to stay with Paul Smith Library.
Well, who do we get that information from? The library itself?
Carl, yeah, at the library, and Buck is still working with him. So, you know, I'll get an update. Make sure we all have an update by the January meeting, but we won't release any funds until we have some. I want to see what they actually got in writing from York County Library System. That's the key to the whole thing.
I'll make a motion for the allocation for December 2025 of $1,000.
I'll second it.
Any other discussion?
And we'll have a agenda item then for January,
Yes,
as long as we have that information.
absolutely. And there's no requirement that we release the money first. I mean, if we release it in the first quarter, that would be fine. I'm sure they're going to have a lot of discussion. I'm not sure we'll have a definitive answer in January, but we'll leave it on the agenda until we have an answer.
I think the time frame that we've had in the past is longer, not sooner.
As far as an agenda item, are we just leaving on Paul Smith Library updates, or are we going to allocate a monthly payment based on budget?
I think why don't we just leave it on as Paul Smith Library, take off the allocation of a monthly amount, and we'll figure out what they tell us. Based on what they tell us, we'll make a decision at that point. So, you could put Paul Smith budget allocation, question mark? So we can discuss it. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? My vote is aye. Okay, under new business, we have Phase 1 aeration upgrades. It's consider approval of application for payment number 8 in the amount of $223,196.53 to PSI Pumping Solutions Incorporated. That's the aeration upgrade plant. It's planned for the wastewater treatment plant.
Make the motion to approve. I'll second it.
Any discussion?
How many payments is it? This is number 8. Do we know how many it will be?
Well, I think the balance due is balance due is 2.6 million. So I would anticipate that we're going to continue to get payments, payment requests on a monthly or every other month basis. Construction will slow down during the winter months. Expected to wrap back up or start back up pretty heavy in the spring.
These are progress payments, so we can control the funding. That's a good thing for us.
Wrapping up by the end of '26?
It should be. It depends when each basin has to be taken out of service and completely drained, and then all the improvements incorporated, so it's going to take some time to do that. We are anticipating to be done by that point, but there might need to be a contract extension. On the backside, it's all dependent on weather too. If we end up with a very rainy spring into summer, that's going to push things back a little bit.
Would it be possible to get any kind of like detailed update next meeting? As far as like what everything actually looks like, what actually is being done? I understand the aeration, but like more the nuts and bolts.
Sure. The progress meeting minutes, the ones from November 26th were unavailable, but a lot of those meeting minutes that we have on a monthly basis kind of go over the progress that's been done to date. But if it's something that you want to see pictures of, we have pictures and kind of can give a little bit of a snapshot of what it looks like.
Any other questions? I have a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? My vote is aye. B-Tree Pump Station, Orbit Road Stormwater Improvements. Consider approval of an application for payment number 2. It will be the final. All the items on the punch list have been completed. The payment is in the amount of $6,895 to Clearview Excavating Incorporated.
Make a motion for the payment.
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? My vote is aye. Consider approval of a resolution setting the real estate tax rates for 2026 at 2.3 mils for general service, 0.28 mils for fire service, and 0.2 mils for EMS service. This represents no tax increase for 26.
I'll make that motion to accept it.
I'll second.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? My vote is aye. Consider approval of a resolution updating the miscellaneous fee schedule for 2026. This is by resolution, right? We come up with the fees. and they're all listed.
Did any of these change? When I looked, I didn't see, I was looking for any increases, but I didn't see any.
Yeah, so the majority of, if we're looking at Schedule A, the majority of those changes really relate to updating it from the codification, the recodification that was done. So a lot of the chapters needed and sections needed to be updated. On the Schedule A, I don't believe there were no changes on Schedule A at this time. On Attachment A, as it relates to commercial plan review, we did incorporate that section when we're looking at commercial building permits because we did not have a plan review cost in there. So what was happening is the office was receiving a building permit for a commercial project, reviewing that, going back and forth, but there was really no cost. So that individual or that corporation, whatever, could turn around and not do the project, and there was no cost recovery by the borough. So we incorporated that plan review section in there, and that is basically a kind of merged with other municipalities and what they're charging for a plan review. On Attachment B, with regard to stormwater, we did make one change there, and that is shown towards the bottom of the page, and that's the recording fee. The recording fee was $50, it is now $75, and that's because of changes at the courthouse as well as the electronic system that's utilized that charges fees for that.
That's primarily just a pass-through.
It is, yeah. No changes in Attachment C. No changes in Attachment D. Attachment E, the only change there, which was approved by council last year, was updating that security deposit for both the auditorium and Lions Club room. If you recall, that was the one of the changes that was made last year, so we just updated that to reflect.
Does that improve the cleaning of the community center, or does it just fall back on the person reserving it? Do you think this has made a difference through the year, or is it just?
Well, it allows us to recover cost for the individual that needs to clean it after it's utilized. I don't.
We had that before, has it helped?
Are people being cleaner? Or
It's hard to
getting
say.
the job done?
No, I don't think it's changed, honestly. The number of rentals decreased in '25. I don't know if that's a result of increasing the security deposit, or if it's just wasn't utilized as much. We're still dealing with issues with the center not being cleaned after a rental, specifically the auditorium. And again, I will say that 9 times out of 10, it's not the private individuals, it's the community organizations that are not taking care of the facility.
And these community organizations are not getting this $400 deposit back?
That's correct. And we are declining rentals if there is not a security deposit on file.
What about 3 strikes and you're out? Does that make a difference?
Something we can talk about, yeah. That's actually a lease. That's not a fee issue, it's a lease issue, but yeah, that's something we definitely can talk about.
I understand things happen at times and there's miscommunication, but when it continuously seems to be organizations that are running it, and they just not care not to give it back and it falls back here, you know? So, when is that a time to be discussed?
Put it on the agenda for next month and discuss it and take a vote on it.
Sounds good.
I think it's a good idea. You strike and you're out policy.
I mean, you know, maybe these
compensations don't matter, or it doesn't matter to them to lose the 400, but maybe when they can't rent it anymore because they continuously do this, maybe then that'll matter.
Or the other thing you could do too would be, say, 3 strikes and security deposit doubles. I mean, at some point, it's gotta hurt. You can't keep paying, just letting your security deposit go. And if it does, then, $800 versus,
Yeah, something like a 6-month no rental, and then from there it's 1,000, and you do it again, it's
Yeah.
something else.
I agree. Okay.
And then, attachment G was provided by Solicitor Tilly, so that just updates. And again, a lot of those relate to any kind of collection of delinquent accounts and liens that are placed, and that's a pass-through. Whatever the borough is billed, we pass that on to that specific account, and that's paid at the time of collection.
And what I did to amend it this year was to look at what the actual time was that was involved and what types of costs were actually incurred, so that it's a realistic, fee-based list of fees. So it's actually based on, the actual costs. So it's a realistic assessment. We're required, if we go to court, if it's ever challenged, we're required to demonstrate in court to the judge that the fee is a reasonable fee that's charged for actual work performed. So this just aligns with that legal standard the courts are looking for.
Okay. Any other questions on the fee schedule? Do I have a motion and a second?
No.
I'll make the motion. Second vote.
I have a motion and a second. If there's no other discussion, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? My vote is aye.
As you consider for the community center, the charges for the cleanup, one of the things that might be helpful to remember is that a security deposit is just that. It is just a deposit. That doesn't mean that you have to accept that amount as the full
That's a good point.
cost of the cleaning. So you might want to impose a fee that's based on, for example, a $50 an hour charge for cleaning. The security deposit is applied to that charge, but and if it's a relatively light cleaning, then maybe they get a portion of their security deposit back. But if they really leave it a mess, they may be on the hook for more than the security deposit. So you might want to consider a cleaning charge based on the actual work that needs to be done, compensating the borough at a fair rate.
That's a good point, yeah. I like
Yeah,
that.
we already take what we are charged by the cleaning company, and that is the amount that is deducted from the security deposit. But I mean, if we were to bill after the rental and after the fact, I think we'd have a difficult time as far as collection.
Yeah, I agree. Then we'd be chasing after it. It would increase solicitor fees, but
I don't think that moves you in the right direction.
no. Okay. Consider approval of the Southern Regional Police budget. Did you want to address that? You want me to address that? Erica? Do you want to make a statement on that, or do you want me to?
We're under the budget, I thought.
Well, it's here, so I mean, we're obviously not going to
I was
approve
looking
it.
at this, I'm sorry.
Yeah, it's on the approval of the Regional Police Department budget.
I was looking at the rec here, I'm like, wait, what?
Yeah, sorry.
Yeah, so there's, through the transition of the accountants, there was some miscommunication, some difficulty there. So today, Gail received the information that she needs to finalize the budget. So I'm hoping that this week we will have some firmer numbers. The Police Commission is meeting on the continuation day of the 23rd at 7 p.m. To finalize the budget.
Thank you. Consider approval of the 2026 Southern York County Regional Recreation Commission budget.
Make a motion for the approval of the 2026 recreation budget.
Second.
Discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
No?
No.
My vote is aye. Motion carried. Consider approval of the New Freedom Borough 2026 budget. The summary sheet is attached, but this is everything we discussed and approved at the last meeting and has been advertised. I would entertain a motion.
Make a motion for the approval of the 2026 meeting schedule for New Freedom Borough.
Second.
No, it's for the budget.
Sorry, I put the wrong one. But I'm sorry, for the budget of 2026.
I'll still second, so.
Okay. I have a motion and a second. Is there any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? My vote is aye. Okay, consider authorizing advertisement of the 2026 meeting schedule, which is attached.
Make a motion for the approval of the 2026 meeting schedule for New Freedom Borough. Officially this time.
I'll second it.
I have a motion and a second. Are there any conflicts, changes, questions? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? My vote is aye. Sorry?
Do you want to just point out that there will be an organizational meeting on the 5th and then a regular meeting on the 12th?
Yes, just since this is relatively short notice, I guess, there is going to be a organizational meeting on January 5th, and then there will be our normal January meeting on the 12th. So the 5th would be when new council members are sworn in also.
I have a request
Sure.
on when we receive our packets. We have, this one's like 126 pages. We've recently been up to 173 pages. That I would like to see us getting our packet the week before our meeting. Getting it on a Thursday or Friday, and having to go through everything.
You're not going to have all the, you won't have all the information.
And-
Not unless you move your meeting date. There's no way you're going to be able to have all the reports and everything in on the first Monday.
Well, the majority of them are the 5th, the 6th. There's only like a handful of them that are like the 1st or the 2nd, something like that, maybe a couple days after. But I would like to see it, and, you know, I think things hold up the packet when there's a majority of the packet sitting there that we could have, and if it's the treasurer's report or something that's held up, you know, not to hold the whole packet, because I'm spending the weekends, you know, away from what my family's doing and other things, because we've got to sit here and go through 100+ pages. I don't think it's an adequate amount of time to digest all of this in 3 days.
What could you have out that would be in an online packet? Can you send out what you have online, and then whatever, you know, maybe send it out in two batches? One, I mean, I wouldn't expect you to print 2 packets, but, you know, if you sent it out online for the first batch, and then like basically what you're doing now for the second. Does that make sense? Or why don't you think about it?
What are you
I don't think it
concerned
does-
about holding it, which reports do you think would hold it up? Like if, I think I wrote out, most of the days are you know, 5, 6, the 4th, 6th, 5th, 7th, 7th. A couple of them are the 2nd and the 1st. Like 7 months out of the year, or at least 4 more days. What would hold it up?
I mean, he probably didn't get the police commission information until the 4th or, 5th that
The
weekend.
police commission stuff goes out the same day of the meeting, so,
Yeah.
yeah, it's usually the same day. So how do you have time to review that?
It's just like 5 pages, not 100
And there's no reason this packet needs to be this much. I can tell you that this topic actually came up at our managers meeting last week, and most municipalities in York County, their managers are getting their packets out on Friday. And they're about half the size, but.
I was gonna say, they're 1 page.
Well, right, but that's because all of these items that have been added over the years are at the request for more information. Well, now that has created this monstrosity that's produced on a monthly basis that's probably not necessary. I mean, the council's here to take action on agenda items, correct?
Mhm.
All of this, as you mentioned, 130 to nearly 200 pages is a lot of extra, and it's also being produced for the public.
What do you think is extra here?
That's up to council. I mean,
Well, I'm just
these
saying-
things have been added over the years. I mean, even looking at your payment request for the treatment plan. Do you need all the pictures, of the items?
I thought we had said before not to put the pictures.
I thought the entire packet was to be
I
included.
thought it was just the packet, not the pictures.
Yeah, but we had said not to do the pictures.
But I, like, after reading that, basically, I'm not gonna say the same packet with all that information, but I think even just like a 1-page total as far as money, I think would be
That's fine.
sufficient, but
Okay.
I agree that I think the packet was agreed upon, not the pictures.
So what is it that you would like to see then?
Well, no,
Or
I'm just
that this
asking.
council would like to see reduced?
I'm asking, as you said, it got brought up at the managers' meeting, so I just wondered, did you talk
Most of
about
them-
ours? Or
Absolutely, yeah. I mean,
and what
most
was the
of-
consensus as too much? What should be? I guess I'm
Most of
curious.
them are, they're saying that their packets are a dozen pages.
So take the pumping, just as an example. How would the other municipality present that? Just like a 1 sheet with, like a 1-pager, like?
They might not even give you anything. You might have the action item.
So it's the action item on the agenda?
Right. Because the problem that has been in the past is I don't have the information, or council doesn't have the information to make the vote on the item. So we include everything that's in the packet there, and now it's ballooned.
Right. Oh, I agree.
I agree. Maybe it's a good opening door to a discussion on how we do our agenda. That we can have further discussion on, maybe we don't need 3 pages.
The agenda itself are the items that we need to talk about, but in some cases, I mean, you don't need much more, for instance, to approve BPI. I just read it right off the item. B-Tree pumping station, I mean, it's just consider approval of application. Do you need the application? I mean, you have to assume that your engineer and your borough manager have reviewed it, so you're considering approval of the payment. It gives you the payment amount and who it's going to. You don't really need anything more than that. That's the action item you're looking at. If you have a question about it, you could, and you got your packet a week earlier, you could say to Andy, so what is this the final payment, or is this whatever? I mean, you could ask questions at that point. if you had a question, but then you would have a packet in hand and the action items that you had to take. I'd be all in favor of that, because you still have the opportunity to ask the borough manager questions during the week if you have a question.
Andrew, the time that's needed to do that doesn't include just coming up with an agenda, does it? Is the agenda an issue, or is it supplements to the agenda that?
The agenda is usually one of the, I think we lost Walt. The agenda is usually one of the first things that's complete. So if you have a call.
Sure.
I kind of think that if the council should be setting the agenda also, because it's always a surprise when I get the agenda of what it's going to be like. You never know. Like, it should be something that council says, like tonight, put it on the agenda. You just said, we'll talk about it next time. I think the council should be setting the agenda.
Any of us can request a.
Well, the council kind of, I mean, the agenda comes from Andy, and when you get it, if there's something on it that, or something that you want added to the agenda, you have to do it kind of right away because it has to be re-advertised. The agenda is locked in by this, by the Sunshine Act.
Well, it is, but like when Teresa Ruby came, that was, I saw it on here, I'm like, well, why? That should have been something that should have come before council. Teresa Ruby would like to come and talk about the comprehensive plan, and that should have been a decision for the council.
No, it was a decision of a citizen who wanted to come.
Well, but she wanted to come talk about it.
Right.
But it's public comment.
It's public
She
comment.
could make, she could come make the public comment if she wanted to, but I don't know, I'm saying that I think the council should be more so setting the agenda, because it, like I said, it's always a surprise, and maybe this is a good opportunity to look at what we have on our agenda compared to other municipalities and maybe pare it down.
Why don't, I'll give you this, why don't we wait until after the first of the year, we'll have the other seated council members, and we can discuss it and decide what we want. So put it on the agenda for the meeting January 12th. Maybe you could come with some suggestions, or what we could take out, or put in.
You look upset.
I'm just confused.
I'm not.
Well, he's been told he had to do it this way, and now you're telling him he doesn't, so it's
Well, no,
a little
I'm
confusing.
saying that I'm not saying that he doesn't, I'm just saying that getting all of this information days before a meeting, that it's on, majority of it's on the weekend, is difficult. And that there should be maybe a cutoff date of when we're gonna add things to the agenda, and that moved back. Like I said, many of the months are the 5th or after.
Well, there is a cutoff time. I mean, normally it's the Thursday the week before the meeting, and if somebody calls and wants, like, what's that? Somebody called today and wanted to be put on the agenda, and no, it's closed, we can't do that. You can come and speak during public comment, but you can't get put on the agenda because the agenda's closed.
We had
That
set the agenda closing date for Tuesday prior to.
Yeah, but if it hasn't been published, we have a little bit of leeway, but at some point you have to say the agenda's closed.
Right, somebody wants to be on the agenda, they have to be on, notify us.
Are you talking about the packet, the ones that we're getting to, or is this ones you're getting specifically on your own?
Well, they basically be the same thing.
Yeah, that was something I actually thought about addressing once I'm on, because I thought this is way too much work that Andrew needs to do that takes him away from.
Well, what you're holding is the treasurer's report. That's a report. Oh, you've got the whole packet, okay.
See, because when I look at these, I just think in my head, oh my God, the amount of money it costs to print colored pictures.
Well, Andrew has actually asked on occasion that we switch to laptops or
Absolutely.
notebooks
I'll be-
so that we don't have to
yeah.
print everything.
I'll have a laptop, that's what that'll be my notebook, if you will. And
Yeah.
we can all do it electronically, everybody, you know, there might be some people in attendance in the borough, elderly folks that don't have access to a computer, maybe they can have one or two. But to trim the time that Andrew's gotta spend on, like, a lot of this stuff, nobody's really gonna look at. We'll look at the lines that have the, you know, the bottom line on it, you know, that tells you the total and whatnot. But there's so much information here that Andrew could, maybe, to Erica's point, because I agree with her in that sense, it'd be nice to have it earlier in the process. Maybe he can just fire it off in bits or.
Well, if it's, my point was, if it's online, it can be updated as it's updated, it'll be refreshed and,
Right.
and, you know.
And
So I think, why don't we
time.
wait though until
Yeah.
you two are seated and we have a new council and everybody can participate in the discussion. And maybe now is the time that we actually go to notebooks or little laptops
Yeah,
or
absolutely.
iPads or whatever.
I bought a laptop specifically for this.
Yeah.
It's-
We probably all have a laptop,
Yeah.
so I mean, we might be able to not. No?
Really have a dedicated device.
Okay, well, that's fine too. But, you know, I'm just saying, maybe now's the time to go with the dedicated device, and then you have it, and it could be updated continually, and then you could get a notification when there's been an update, so you know to go look.
Yeah, I
So,
don't think he-
yeah, there's all kind of different things we can do.
This is just crazy.
There are 20 pages just attached to that one bill.
So,
I didn't mean to blow it up to this. I just wanted to get the packet earlier, that's all I was asking.
Yeah.
so again, in
Yeah.
that discussion that we had at the managers meeting, some are just sending out the agenda on Tuesday or Wednesday, agenda only. And then they'll follow up on Thursday, Friday with the complete packet.
Well, even that would
That's
be helpful.
fantastic, that would.
Yeah, that would be helpful. Yeah.
But you have to realize that those 2 to 3 days, there might be small changes in that agenda. There might be, you know, a line across where it says, we'll go to the PSI, consider approval of payment application number 9 for January, assuming that we submit one. The dollar amount might be blank on that draft agenda, but it might be filled in on Thursday or Friday.
Right.
I think that one of the other items is, obviously, the meeting minutes, that's not an issue. Your treasurer's report, we make sure that our accounts are reconciled with the bank statements before we produce a treasurer's report. Because we want to make sure that we don't have to go back and make any changes after we reconcile. So, making sure that we have those bank statements on time. I think all but 2 accounts are received electronically, but it's up to the bank then to process that. Sometimes it's not on the first, sometimes it's the second or third till we get that. So that's definitely going to be another item that might be difficult, because that's a joint effort between Tara and I to make sure that that's prepared and accurate, and all the accounts are reconciled. Yeah, I mean, and really anything else then as far as those progress reports and operating reports, I think it's just gonna be hit or miss as we go through the months, depending on when
And that's okay.
how the month falls.
Yeah, I think that's okay. It would just give us a little bit more time with the information, or at least with the agenda.
But you're only gonna really be seeing the agenda
Right,
at that point.
yeah. But it would give the opportunity to ask a question, like what, if it's a, most of the items on the agenda are not earth-shaking issues that cause a lot of uproar. Occasionally there is one in which you may want to be able to call you and ask you for additional information or whatever. So why don't we put it on the agenda for January 12th and we'll come to some conclusion. Okay, consider approval of the final subdivision plan, Phase 1, R&M New Freedom LLC. See? Yeah. I do that.
Good evening. I guess this is on?
No, you gotta
Push the button.
There you go.
There you go.
Thank you. This subdivision is in Shrewsbury Township. It has been approved by Shrewsbury Township. It's 2 1-acre lots with well and septic that are along Kirshner, near the railroad track, and a 20-acre remaining farm that's going to stay as a 20-acre farm. Since it's still part of the total property that partially is in New Freedom Borough, you also have to sign the plan before it can be recorded. Shrewsbury Township approved the plan at their meeting last week, contingent on posting the bond. We will be widening Kirshner Road a little bit on that one area. Other than that, there's no improvements, and it'll just be what you see. There are 2 lots, that are 1-acre lots.
Are these the ones down here?
Right, and the balance of everything else there, that's all in Shrewsbury Township, that's going to remain as a farm.
Will this come back to us for New Freedom, or is this the final approval?
It's a final approval. Well, there's nothing occurring in New Freedom. It's just the way that the system is structured, even though, and your engineer has reviewed the plan. They reviewed the plan and approved it.
Yeah,
So there's really nothing further to do once you approve it, and we post a bond with Shrewsbury as he reported. If anybody's any questions.
Yeah.
All right, that's
Ron, you're following
my question,
the
yeah.
line there, is
So-
just that tiny little triangle that touches, but is.
You're talking about it.
Yeah.
But it's all the farm area. Yeah, see, you're right. I forgot about that.
It's that tiny little triangle.
Yeah, the actual property is totally in the, partially in New Freedom Borough, but you're right, there's one little triangle down there. I missed that, to tell you the truth.
No, it's okay.
And were there waivers given for these 2 parcels?
Yeah, there were some waivers. If you want me to do the list of waivers, I can do it.
What were the waivers?
They should be on the,
First
should be on
page.
the cover sheet, yeah.
Yeah.
On the front.
Plan scale, we went to a different plan scale just to make everything fit on the plan. ENS plan, there is no improvements proposed with this project, so there's no need for an ENS plan. Environmental impact assessment, we have that already from the bigger plan, so we didn't have to do it individually for this smaller plan, so it was waived. Minimum street width, that's the one we have a partial waiver on. They wanted us to add 4 foot of paving along Kirshner Road from where Concord Drive comes up to the railroad tracks, which we agreed to do. Let's see, the curbs and sidewalks, there's no need for curbs and sidewalks along Kirshner Road, so that was waived. And, well, that was 2. Curbs is number 6 and sidewalks are number 7. That's it.
You used the word septic, or is this going to be on?
They are septic, yes. And there's no sewer involved in this. They got standard perk test, which I haven't gotten a standard perk test at all. But all 3 properties, we redid the farmhouse because it has an older system, and I wanted to upgrade that. I'm keeping the farm. And the other 2 lots all got standard perks, which were great. And we got phenomenal wells. The one well came in 40 gallons a minute. So that all worked out well. And one of the lots, one of the Amish family that lives at the farm, they're buying one of the lots to build a house for their daughter, who just got married. If you drove by and saw this crazy structure that was there, that was for the wedding reception. They built it, had the wedding, and then took it down. 300 people. It's crazy. So that's it.
Is there plans for development on the other side of Kirchner?
That's all part of the farm. That's being retained as the farm. That outline, that's all part of that lot. See where it says phase 1?
Mm-hmm.
That's part of the 20 acres. So that'll stay with the farm.
And that's,
Originally, did you have plans for that?
No, I
Side.
was always gonna keep it as part of the farm.
and that's Shrewsbury Township?
Yes, it is.
And that is, what, is that strictly farmland
So
or
this-
is it protected?
This is the,
Excuse me, is that protected land under Pres Ag?
No, no, it's
Okay,
not.
so at some point it could be developed.
Not in Shrewsbury Township, it could. Most of it's wetlands.
Yeah.
And what's
All
not wetlands is covered by the critical environmental area. That whole area could not be developed just because of zoning and environmental issues.
That's my primary question, thank you.
When you said protected, I thought you meant, was it put in any kind of program?
Well, it could be clean and green or Pres Ag.
It is in clean and green. It's in clean and green.
It's the mayor that's
He
talking.
was talking.
That's all right, no, you're answering my question.
Yeah, it's in clean and green, but that whole entire property, you can see the dotted area, that's wetlands.
Very good.
And everything down in front of that, from that area down to the street, is a CEA in Shrewsbury Township, critical environmental area. So it can't be developed either. And if you come back across to the other side of Kirshner, again, you see that stream channel that goes through there, and that's also wetlands. That all had a phase 2 bog turtle hunt there, actually, just to confirm that there were no bog turtles there. So there really isn't anything that can happen with that.
All right, thank you.
Sure.
People keep asking me, what is going on? It looks like a big hole into the ground's being dug out, like when they drive by on Constitution.
It's a Constitution. Oh, you can see it from Constitution.
Yeah, you can see it from there, and it's from,
It's a big hole.
well, that's what people,
It's a stormwater basin.
that's what it, okay, I'm like,
We've been working for 2 months, and all we've been building is a stormwater basin. It's phenomenal. Stormwater today is the most expensive part of development. One third of the cost of doing a development, probably more than 1/3, is all stormwater.
and it's just the 37 homes there?
I think it's 30.
It's
34.
37 lots, 34.
34 homes.
37 lots,
34.
34 homes.
Yeah,
Is
the
there,
ones are stormwater lots, sorry.
when you had come previously, years back, you had a phase where there was going to be a lot of apartments, condos there on Kirchner. You had two things, didn't you, when you had come in?
That was way back in the beginning. We came to, actually met with your staff back at that time,
Uh-huh.
and asked what direction should we go. And we were asked to go to a traditional neighborhood development, TND. And we had contracted to buy land from Man Parker and the property that's now the solar farm.
Mhm.
Put all that together and spent about $80,000 on a plan for TND. And when we came in to present that, the mood had changed and we threw it all away in the trash can.
So there's no further plans? I was just wondering.
What you
We
see
went
is what
back-
you're gonna get, it's
So this is
34
it.
traditional homes.
This is it
That's
for
it.
Kirchner.
That's it.
I don't think that lot was, or that lot map was included in the packet, otherwise I'll put it up there.
What's that?
The individual lots, the 37 lot.
No,
that
because
one.
it's not part of the.
Yeah, I'm just saying, it wasn't included, that's why I'm not putting it up.
I did bring 4 copies of the plan that are signed by me and notarized. I can leave them with you if you want.
That's fine, yeah. If you wanted to set them, I
I'll
have
take
the
it.
plan that you provided over there, we'll
Okay.
get them.
Do I have a motion and a second? I don't, do I? I would entertain a motion.
We don't need it. We want it to
This
be
is
on.
for what? These,
Yeah.
can you just explain what this is for, these 2 lots, what we're doing?
Well, it's not just for the 2 lots. This is for the entire subdivision plan for the, it's not?
That's why I'm asking.
No,
Okay,
it's-
well, that's what was the impression I got.
It's a final plan for just the 2 lots in the farmhouse. That's all it is.
And the only reason this is coming before New Freedom is because of the previous plan and the fact that that touches and borders New Freedom Borough. There's no improvement, there's no building, there's no infrastructure,
Okay, that's what
there's no lot line change.
Nothing.
Okay,
Yeah,
That's it.
I apologize then, because I thought I had asked the question and it had been answered, but I guess I
I'm
was
sorry,
mistaken.
that's, all it is
Yeah,
to agree with Shrewsbury Township's approval of how they're subdividing the piece in Shrewsbury Township.
understood, okay. I would still entertain a motion, then.
Just as it's worded.
It's on the, I would entertain a motion to consider approval of the final subdivision plan, Phase 1, RM New Freedom LLC, which is bordering New Freedom Borough.
So moved.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? My vote is aye.
Thank you very much.
Okay. Consider ratifying the hiring of Rachel McCauley as Director of Recreation for Southern York County Regional Recreation Commission. Ryan, do you want to just give people a,
Yeah, that was, so we had the second round of interviews. The hiring group met, interviewed. Originally it was narrowed down to 5, is that right?
Yeah.
Narrowed down to 5. One didn't respond, I don't know if he ever did. One didn't show up. Who's the third? And then we had two people actually interview. So out of that, it was a unanimous decision amongst the interviewing group to extend an offer to Rachel. Very impressed with the information that they put forward. What really stood out was that they presented a 30, 60, 90-day plan, which is something that all the interviews didn't see from anybody. I thought it was really neat to have that layout and more thought go into it.
and her husband are both involved in the community, and she is local, so that, I think, will provide a lot of motivation to. So I would entertain a motion to ratify hiring Rachel McCauley.
Make a motion to approve the ratification of hiring Rachel McCollum.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. Are there any questions or discussion?
Say, I continue to believe that we should go back to a voluntary rec for our community.
Okay. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
No?
No.
My vote is aye, motion carries. Solicitors report.
Yes, good evening, everybody. Thank you again for allowing me to participate remotely tonight. On that issue, I had a follow-up visit with my surgeon today, actually, and he indicated that the progress is good. But it does take about 8 weeks or so for the healing to be enough that I can travel. So that'll be another month or so until I can get out. So I'll probably have to participate remotely in your January meetings, but we'll probably be able to be there in person in February. On the solicitor matters, wanted to let you know that we now have, I think, achieved full service on all of the people who had an interest in the Altieri property. So we can move to the next step of the process to conclude that taking. On the Tony appeal from his civil conviction of the property maintenance code violations, we are proceeding with that litigation. So I hope to have that in court in February or March to have a final resolution from the judge. With respect to the Devin Taylor matter, he has a preliminary hearing on Thursday. I think I and probably several of you have been asked to testify at that hearing. The federal case, however, has not moved at all, since July 30 when it was assigned to the new judge. So I don't know if that has slipped off the radar of the court or what has happened. It's unusual in federal court for something to remain inactive for that period of time. If you want that matter to be checked out, so to speak, you can contact the attorney who's representing all of us and ask him to maybe check in with the court and see if there's anything else that we need to do in order to have the matter moved forward. Other than that, I have not had any activity since our last meeting.
Okay, thank you, Walt. Hope you continue to heal.
You're welcome. Thank you.
Managers report?
Everyone has a copy of the November 2025 Managers Report. Obviously, a lot of work to get ready for the end of the year, as well as finalize the documents for tonight's meeting in regard to budget preparation. As Ryan communicated, we worked through the process of interviewing and going through all the resumes and going through that process with Shrewsbury Township and DCNR to select the next Director of Recreation. Earlier this evening, you approved a payment request to PSI Pumping Solutions for the wastewater treatment plant upgrade. We were able to secure the first reimbursement through the DCED's H2O program, and that was over $689,000 back to not only New Freedom Borough, but Shrewsbury Borough Authority as well as Railroad Borough. So obviously that's proportionally split up. That grant is for over $1.1 million, so we're a little halfway through that grant reimbursement, and we're going to continue to process those payment requests. Just one item that I did include in the packet was a letter from the borough's workers' compensation. They did perform a site visit back in October. They had no recommendations coming from that, and the second page kind of provides what they made note of and all the different aspects of the borough operations. Just sharing that informationally. From that, anybody has any questions?
I do think the borough deserves to be congratulated on that workers' compensation report. I rarely see a report that clean. Congratulations to you folks.
Thank you, Andrew.
That's borough staff. That's your wastewater, your public works, your water guys. That's making sure that everything's in compliance and everything's up to date. So.
Okay.
Good job.
President's report. I'm just going to take a few moments to thank two of our council members, Dennis Sarpin and Burnell Wilderson. I have to remind everybody that in New Freedom, while council is an elected position, it's also an uncompensated volunteer community service position and requires many volunteer hours. Dennis Sarpin has served New Freedom for over 25 years. He's used his engineering degree to support New Freedom's infrastructure, especially working with the wastewater treatment plant. One example is after a hurricane and power outage, he helped get the generators to run the plant. The workers couldn't leave, so he brought the sandwiches into them. Dennis, by acting as our engineering rep in wastewater treatment plant meetings, has literally saved New Freedom taxpayers thousands of dollars over the years, plus the $32.17 for the sandwiches he took in. Burnell has served 6 years. He advocated for and led the sesquicentennial celebration and has served on the infrastructure committee for 4 years during the wastewater treatment plant upgrade. Burnell is New Freedom's unofficial historian and can be seen helping with the train on weekends. Both Burnell and Dennis are from engineering backgrounds, so it seemed appropriate to honor them by dedicating a rail tie for each at NCR. This has been donated on behalf of council. Finally, Dennis has volunteered to continue to serve New Freedom Borough on the infrastructure committee. Council wishes both Dennis and Burnell well, and thank you for your service. See you around the borough.
Thank you.
We had an executive session a while back, and we decided to have, to write a de-escalation protocol. I sent out a revision on that, which incorporated some changes. I don't know what the next step is. I probably should have asked Walt before the meeting. Do we put it on the agenda to adopt it? Do we just use it as a protocol, or does it need to be discussed and voted on?
Well, that is a Borough Council decision. You can do any of the above. You can make it just a kind of a personal practice type of a thing, being aware. If you want to make it an official policy of the Borough Council, you can do that as well, and it will be added to your other policies. In which case, that would be something that would be placed on the agenda on the subject of a motion and a discussion and a vote.
I will leave that up to council. Do you want me to put it on the January agenda, or do you want to just have it as a policy?
On the 12th.
Sorry?
Put it on the 12th.
That's fine. Put it on the 12th?
I agree.
You add it to the agenda for the 12th discussion of our de-escalation protocol. Fine. Mr. Mayor.
First thing on here, I think you can see the scheme of report. It's rather self-explanatory. We did approve the shelter agreement. I'm assuming that you've got that completed for my signature, which I asked for last meeting.
Yeah, it was waiting your signature.
Oh, it's not in my box then, so okay. I didn't know. I didn't get an email that it was ready or anything.
Well, there was nothing, it was ready the night it was approved. Yeah, we'll get it.
Okay, all right. I just want to make sure that we get that to them. We did approve Stan Walters for a few additional things that will affect a minority of the monetary amounts that we have in the schema fund. We are going to be giving him mileage. He never requested mileage. We're insisting that he keep track of his mileage, and he'll be paid at the federal rate. I have to say I'm rather disappointed that we didn't get more response, not necessarily from this council, but from other councils that make up schema, to have our own southern emergency plan that we could go over here rather than going up to York. At this point now, we're going to have to do that in York probably in February. I hate to see a February meeting because we never know what the weather's going to be. I know a lot of us did respond to that. Some other municipalities at their meetings acted like they didn't even know it existed. I guess the information wasn't given to them. We are upgrading our cloud storage for Stan. He's just so into this. There's nobody that's going to be better for emergency management than Stan is. He has everything recorded, but he doesn't like to keep everything right on his computer in case something happens. It's all based on a cloud storage, and we ran out of storage facilities, and we authorized him to go ahead and update that. That's pretty much it. We're still working on completing the new EOP, which we have to do every 2 years. we will hopefully have that completed by our next schema quarterly meeting. Other than that, again, myself, I would like to thank our fellow compadres here on council for your service over the years. It has been a pleasure, and again, to reiterate what President Bobby said, you saved us hundreds of thousands of dollars, and we certainly do appreciate your great knowledge, and we hope that we can still depend on you to answer any questions that we have in the future. That seems to be your forte, and we don't want to lose that.
Thanks, Mayor.
You're very welcome. Other than that, I do have some things that I need to discuss with the borough manager. I have been getting some complaints that I think we need to address. I'd rather not do it here. I'll do it with you, and we can get it on next month's list. What they have to do with noise complaints that have been ongoing for several months. Other than that, I really don't have anything else.
Southern Regional?
Yes, the December 3rd meeting, we swore in 3 civil service people that take up that commission. There was a car fire at Giant. Officer Hanson and Waugh responded with fire extinguishers, and were able to put that out. And out of the kindness of his heart, Officer Hanson went across the street to Walmart and purchased a car seat that was damaged in that fire, so that family could get home. So that was just a showing of how amazing our officers are. The Shepherd's Fund that we spoke about last month is up and running, and in the first week they had $1,300 donated to it. The department already has some gift cards in their in-car pouches that they're able to have with them when they come in contact with people in need. I gave you the flyer, Andrew. Is it going to go on the website? I guess maybe in the newsletter, Savvy Citizens, so forth. There should be like a QR code. You see it out, you're able to donate to that fund. So really, really good fund. Port of Stewartstown had a hit and run, the flock again. That tag reader that is around our community was able to locate that and solve that crime. The shields that we had voted on are in. They're in service in the vehicles, so that is a great safety tool for the officers to have with them. The department did get radios. They went in through a collaboration with the county and bought them through the bulk program, which saved a considerable amount of money. Chief would like to hire a part-time officer. We lost our part-time officer almost a year ago, I believe. Officers are picking up overtime due to that, so we're going to start exploring the cost benefit of that in the coming months. Like I said, there was some difficulty with the transition between the accountants, so Peter, solicitor, drafted a letter directing information to be clearly given so that the budget can be produced, and that was completed today. So like I said, hopefully later this week we'll have more firm numbers. It's my opinion the budget will become in at a single digit, but that's just my opinion. We will see. It'll be close to that. I believe and hope. We did have an executive session for a personnel issue, and we will meet, like I said, on December 23rd, the continuation meeting. The commission will to approve the final budget. That's it.
Thank you. Any questions?
Yeah, I do have one question. With regard to the commission, I noticed in the report, Glen Rock is way over what they, their PPUs are purchased, will they be reimbursing the other municipalities for the extra time that they've used? Or that they'll be using between now and the end of the year?
They're watching the time closely. It was reported, they were within tolerance, and if they do go over, they will pay just like they did last year.
Okay, because I noticed this month they're already over for the year.
That's when that was printed, and at the commission meeting, he said he looked at the board, and they're under 30-something hours, I think.
Okay, all right, I just,
As long as
we're
anybody
not
isn't
paying
funny.
for, you know,
They've been very good about paying their
very,
bill, and
that's fine.
if they go over, they pay. It's not a problem. So, anything else? Engineering report? Questions? Water report?
Just mention that we did get the letter in the packet about the water issue from October 23rd. And I'm happy that it's being resolved and looks like miscommunication, but I think that we should have been told. Shouldn't be finding out about an October issue in December and going forward. Whether all the information is there or not, the information that you do have, I think should be shared with the council.
I also saw in that letter that a lot of that was done through telephone. Is that correct, Jake?
Some of it was, yes.
Yeah, I would certainly recommend that we have some backup as to emails so that if it comes down to who struck John, you can protect yourself.
Learned my
It
lesson.
doesn't matter with DEP.
Learned my lesson.
Well, at least we know that you've,
Is there some type of,
it's due diligence to protect.
is there a manual that would have told you this versus the person telling you this?
Not necessarily, because this is something that we had to do extra testing for. Just like I said in the letter, there was extra testing that was supposed to be done. We did it. I reached out to our representative when the blanket email came through and was told that we didn't need to do the testing later on. She's still green, and that's the exact words that I got from her two superiors. What I don't understand is DEP sanitarians that come down here to check me are not required to have the certifications that I am in order to do my job. So how can you have somebody come to inspect something that doesn't even have the qualifications that I had to go for? So yeah, so there.
I have to remind you.
Some things were messed.
I have to remind you, Jake, this is government, so it doesn't have to make sense.
What I was gonna say.
Totally agree, we're gonna get everything, I mean, to make it clear as mud, there is nothing wrong with the water. There never has been, and we're gonna get these samples taken care of. The lady told me, had I pulled them a week later, I could have killed two birds with one stone, and this would be water under the bridge. We wouldn't even be discussing it. But now we'll just do more samples next year, and we'll be good.
Are we
And
being
we'll pass
fined?
them with flying colors.
Are we being fined for this?
No, and when it says violation, there's no fines. That was my biggest concern, was that, are we being fined, it's just their way of slap on the wrist and saying, hey, next time, so yeah, I mean.
Is there, sorry. is there an expense for these extra tests that we have to do
No,
on
there's, I mean,
us? Or you just send it to
it
them
would
now?
have been, it was required to do them at a certain time this year.
Mhm.
I missed that because of the information that I was given that was incorrect. So it's the same fee next year to do those 20 samples. You know, we'll just pick up next year instead of doing them this year.
There's no cost, there's no
There's no fault,
violation,
yeah.
there's no, I mean,
There's
there's
no
a
fines or
violation, but
anything
there's
like
no finable violation or anything that impacts the water system, so we're fine.
Yeah, I mean.
Thank you,
it's just-
Jake. I know that it can be
It's a paper trail.
difficult dealing with bureaucrats sometimes. I think I am a bureaucrat sometimes. It's probably difficult dealing with me sometimes. So, but thank you. I appreciate your effort.
Did they document it at all that it wasn't you, being they gave you that she's green information? I mean, did they document on their side so they know that it's not?
I'm guessing so. I mean, I have the exact inspection report. I can show you after the meeting. I'll show you, I can share a copy with it.
There's nothing wrong with sending something back to them saying, per our discussion on such and such a date.
I did that
Okay,
after the fact.
right.
I've learned my lesson.
Yep, perfect. All right, appreciate it.
Is that called CYA?
I think it is, yeah.
I will say there have been other instances where even when things are in writing with DEP, through an email chain or through other documentation, if someone else in the department is reviewing that, or there's a change in personnel, it doesn't matter. They have stated opinions on processes and equations and things to use, and then there's a slight change, whether it's personnel or their higher ups are reviewing it, and it's completely disregarded. So having it in writing is great, but I can tell you with DEP, if they say it doesn't matter, it's still wrong. It's
Well,
still wrong.
we've even seen that in stormwater management, where they'll approve one method and then come back and say, yeah, well, we don't quite like that, do this instead, right? I mean, so it's,
When it goes through the process.
right, pretty much it's their,
Unfortunately, there's a lot of turnover, as Jake pointed out, and that does create some problems.
So they don't have a schedule, saying these counties and these boroughs and these counties will be hit for 2020?
I'm sorry?
They don't have a schedule on their website or something that local governments can go to that tell them for the year 2026, here's the boroughs that'll be looked at, or here's the counties that'll be looked at, certain boroughs in those counties?
No, there's a schedule that gets sent out periodically throughout the year of what samples you have to take and what you have to submit to them. I read that schedule and I asked my sanitarian, do I need to take these samples? Because we had just taken them on May 5th. They would have been due June 1st to September 30th. And she said no. So her way of thinking was that I already took care of that. We don't need to do this. And that's what got me in the hot seat. So again, we'll take them June 1st to September 30th of 2026. We pass them, we're good to go for the next 2 years, and then we're back on a 3-year period again.
and I would say I'll guarantee it won't ever happen again, but I'll guarantee that it will. So it's just the way it works, so.
I have a question, Andrew or Jake, I can't remember which one of you told me, wasn't there like an email address that you guys added to have more clear communication with the borough from DEP? Or am I getting this wrong? There was like a water at New Freedom Borough or something?
Yeah, there was water in the public works, and I think working with Jake, and we're gonna try to consolidate that so it's all into one, so we're not missing anything. And I don't think that wasn't the case here, but.
Yeah, it was, there was 2 email addresses from previous supervisors.
Yeah.
Why I'm jumping back and forth between 2, because I get duplicate emails. We just consolidated the one, it's only Public Works at New Freedom Borough, and that's it. like, I didn't miss the email, I went back through and
Yeah,
checked
no,
everything.
that's what I'm saying, as a
Yeah.
corrective action moving forward, this is gonna make it
Yeah, we're just gonna have
a
one.
single point.
Yep, everybody's in one email for my department.
Perfect.
Thanks again, Jay. Wastewater system?
I do have one question. While tanks are being taken down at the treatment plant, has there been any issues? Because there's three tanks, Rick? At the treatment plant, there's 3 tanks?
There are 3 basins, yeah.
And one's being taken down for the improvements. There's
Each
no-
one has to be taken down.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
while it's being down,
It'll be running in 2 basin mode.
will that cause problems?
It will pose a challenge. Yeah, you're basically, in theory, kind of running in storm mode at that point. So you need to alter your treatment cycles to make sure that obviously you're still treating the same amount of water, but with one less basin. So the ideal time to do that is not in rainy season.
Okay.
That's what they're gonna try to shoot for, that, to basically start right at the end of spring as we move into summer. You still have the potential of getting heavy downpours and heavy storms, but that's really, looking at the weather forecast and planning ahead for that.
Do you think that will necessitate schedule changes or anything like that with personnel?
I do not, because it is up to the contractor to ensure that during that time, operations are maintained.
Okay.
Zoning code enforcement, there's a permit report. There's no updates to the code enforcement report. Does anyone have any questions on anything? Subdivision and land development report.
I did have a resident stop me. I didn't see them while they were doing the construction of the solar plant, but they, I guess, had some remote stoplights.
Yes.
Yeah, they said that they really liked that, and they thought it was a good workaround for the construction there. So, I don't know if there's other projects, if we can ever suggest that to vendors, maybe, I don't know, but somebody actually stopped and said that they liked something about it, so thought I'd pass that along.
That was the land developer that, when we met with him on site, he basically said, yeah, I'm not going to use flaggers, I'm going to use traffic lights.
Yeah, I've seen them before, especially when it's probably a pretty close area, but I've seen them before, and I thought that was kind of interesting.
Leave your microphone on and talk about rec.
I can do that. We have our meeting tomorrow. As we mentioned earlier, Rachel will be joining rec. So excited about the future, excited about having somebody local and invested in the community. And like I mentioned, I was very impressed with the resume and the plan that they put forth. Our meeting tomorrow is at Shrewsbury Borough. I'm sorry, Shrewsbury Township, I'm sorry.
Any questions on recreation? Okay. Any reports on any committee? I don't think there's really been no business development activity. You have any updates or anything on Kim to?
EMS I've not received, and I had requested a week or so ago a current EMS report. Apparently they wait for 911 to send their report, and make sure that they coincide. So I do not have an EMS report for this month, but I also requested from them their 2026 budget, as we do have an EMS tax and a fire tax. They're responsible to submit to us their 2026 budgets, especially EMS, since we have had other municipalities agree to split that cost per call, volume, and percentage. So I'm hoping to have that later this week. If I get it, what I'll do is I'll have Andrew go ahead and send that out to all of you. I don't send the entire report, but I'll give you a report of where the calls came from. I consider a lot of that to be kind of a HIPAA because it gives addresses and circumstances, and that's kind of none of our business, just where the calls are, how many in each municipality is what we're really interested in. But we really need to have a copy of the EMS and fire budgets.
Great, yeah. Personnel, I guess we are down one public works employee right now. We're on hold for the hire until we come up with staffing requirements and justification. Personnel committee has asked Andrew, and he's in turn will ask Jake and wastewater treatment plant to put together their best idea of a staffing plan, and then we'll get together and discuss. So that's where we are with that. But we are down one person right now in public works. Is there correspondence? Any other public comment?
Yeah, I got a question. I wasn't subpoenaed to go to the thing with Kevin.
You can't do public comment as a council person. I'm sorry.
She's just asking a question.
Well, okay.
That's fine.
Ask your question, please.
No worries, I'll take care of it.
Robert's rules, I don't know if you want to.
Well, there wasn't any public comment, and now he's asking a question.
Okay, he can ask you for time to comment.
Sir?
Sir?
I'll call the magistrate to find out if I just want to find out if I can go.
Yes, you're allowed to go.
I'll call the magistrate myself.
It's a public hearing, you're allowed to attend. Okay. There's no need for an executive session that I know of. No one's asked for one, and I would entertain a motion to adjourn.
Make a motion for adjournment?
Second.
Favor?
Aye.
We are adjourned. Pretty close to it.
Thanks, Walt.
Thank you.
Everybody else can talk.
Yes, yeah, I will. Yeah, I'll take care of that. Thank
And while, we'll go back